variables that was been defined S1, S2, and S3. These are the structure variables we can able to say, which was trying to referring to what meant student. Okay. So this is how the marks. Yeah, this is what the column it was going to be creating the values meant. See, first one for S1, what he told meant number, marks, and section, right? So first one, the number has been stored, and for this one, marks was been stored, and for the section, it was been stored. But in the simple terms that we can able to say, it was considered to be it was considered to be as one single record. Using S1, we can able to store only one student record, right? And in the S2, we can able to store in the second student record, and in the S3, it was going to store only the one student record. So if you want to store more than one record, so then what do we have to go for, man? That is what the concept we call it as structure of arrays. As the structure is a data type, right? So even that structure is being converted into array. So how can you convert that array? Here you can able to see that variable S1 you said, right? So S1 immediately use the square brackets, man, and put some kind of default value which is nothing but 10. So what will happen now? For S1, you can able to store 10 records here. Okay. So in order to get the information of one single student, there is a common fields that it is a mandatory that number, marks, and section is mandatory. But using this one, how many students we can able to store? We can able to store n number of records whenever you converted this variable to be as an array. Okay, so S1 instead of S1, we can able to store multiple student records. Then we can able to say that S1 of using the square brackets. Okay, so that means what does it indicates to the compiler? S1 is nothing but a structure of array, so that it can able to accept multiple students data. Okay, so this is how we can able to go for it. But anyway, we are going to seeing that one in the next coming topics actually. So this is what the structure syntax. So structure name, that means tag name, and in between these things that we can going to define the data type variable name. Okay, and so on. We have a number of variables we can able to define, and ending the definition that is with semicolon, right? Yeah, you see here employee, he has been defined. So employee is my structure name. So name is one of the common field, and as well as the ID and as well as the salary. So right. So have you people observed that? So name character, so is nothing but a character which is occupying with 20, right? So 20 is the value that you has been given that. So 20 men. What is the size of this variable man now? The first thing here is the character is having how many bytes? For example, let us say which is nothing but 1 byte, right? So for 1 byte into 20 characters, what happened now? So totally 20 bytes it was going to be occupying, right? In the same way, 20 bytes plus int ID. Int is nothing but how many bytes, man? 2 bytes. That means 20 plus 2. How many bytes, man? Totally 22. That means ID is occupying 2 bytes, right? Then what is the float, man? Then 4. So 22 plus 4. What is the total, man? 22 plus 4 is nothing but 26. Okay. So what is the total size of the structure employee, man? 26 bytes. That is how it was going to be calculated. Okay. So salary is having this 4 bytes, so and so on. So it was gone. You can able to create n number of variables here now. The structure name and variable declaration, how it was going to be happening, it was showing that n number of variables that we can able to store, right? So this is how the structure is going to be happening, right? Let us see now. Right. So select all the correct statements given below. A structure is a collection of different data type variables. Yes. Okay. A structure is the keyword used to declare a new structure. Is it a structure keyword, man? No. struct. Struct is the keyword. So this is wrong. So without a structure variable, member is allocated to a structure. Memory is allocated to a structure. So without the structure variable, is it possible to define a memory, man? Without a variable, even in C language itself, without a variable, can you able to assign it can able to allocate a memory for that particular thing, man? No, you can't do that. So struct is a keyword used in defining of a structure variable. Yes, so that's what thing that we can able to go with. So what's that? Oh, sorry, I had been take this one. Right. So, and the next question, and the second question that you can able to come to see here is, right. See, passing of the structure references to the way of accessing the members of the that structure. So how can you access the first point? You need to learn before going to the topic. You need to learn how to access the member variables. Okay, that means member fields. That means this one. Okay, how to insert the values into it and how to add the values inside. Okay, so how to retrieve the values from those things actually. The only one single concept man that we can able to say here, you can able to see that. See, struct employee is my struct employee, right? So employee is my structure name that is consisting of two member variables. That is, one is employee ID and employee name. And out of all this one, I had been declared my structure variable. What is that? EMP1, right? So how can you insert a value or directly assign a value to a particular member variables of this one, right? Let us see now how it was going to be called. The syntax here is structure variable first point. That means EMP1 dot is the operator. It was going to be calling that particular variable, or we can able to access that particular variable inside the structure, because EMP1 is trying to referring to which one, man? It was referring to employee structure, right? Within that dot, which one you want to trying to access, man? Variable. That is, which variable, man? EMP ID. That is equal to able to directly values and we define using the scanf function, right? So this is how we can able to go with. So in the same way, see, employee1 EMP1 dot employee name, that is equal to, as it is a string, that we have to put it in the what, man? Double quotations, right? So in the same way, I want to copy. So what is it? What is he wants to copy, man? Can we able to give this one like this? See, right? Yeah. The first point here is gives an error. Why, man? Why it was going to give an error? Because as a string is already consisting of a memory locations, and how can you insert those memory locations into the data type of char, man? So that's why it was not going to accessing the memory. It was not going to directly put this Abdul Kalam value into EMP name. So what is the alternative way then? Use a string copy. What does this string copy will do, man? Whatever the value was being there in the string 2, that means this one. This is string 1 and this is string 2. Whatever the value that was being specified here, that was going to be copied internally into which one, man? Employee EMP name. This is how we can able to assign the values into an array. Because see, a string is nothing but acting like what, man? It is a single dimensional array, actually, right? So that is how we can able to use that. But a dot is nothing but, in order to access the member variables, we need to use the dot. Okay. So this is how we can able to go with.